Well, hello, welcome. Our lectionary reading for Sunday the 17th of January is John chapter 1 verses 43 through to 51. Hear the Gospel. The next day Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and said to him, "Follow me." Now Philip was from Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We've found him about whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth." Nathanael said to him, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Philip said to him, "Come and see." When Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him, he said to him, "Here is truly an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." Nathanael asked him, "Where did you get to know me?" Jesus answered, "I saw you under the fig tree before Philip called you." Nathanael replied, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus answered, "Do you believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree? You will see greater things than these." And he said to him, "Very truly, I tell you, you will see heaven opened, and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man." We have here in John's Gospel the beginning of Jesus gathering together of a band of disciples, those who are going to follow him. And what we discover, well, I've certainly seen it, as we look at what John says, but also as we weave together the four Gospel accounts, that the disciples are bound together with Jesus basically through a web of relationships. These are not random callings. They don't suddenly just come out of the blue. At the heart of it, I want to suggest, are James and John, the two brothers, the sons of Zebedee. There is evidence that they are actually cousins of Jesus. There's an element of nepotism that goes on in terms of the selecting of the disciples. And it kind of spreads out in a web, in a net from there. Their father, Zebedee, is a business partner. So they, assumably, the two brothers are as well, with Simon later called Peter, and Andrew. They're together in the fishing business. I suspect they share a boat, and maybe more than one boat, but are bound together as business partners. And so we see here in this text that Philip is also included here, and he's from the same town as Andrew and Simon Peter. They're both from Bethsaida, which is right up the very top right-hand corner of the lake. If you're looking at the map, the Sea of Galilee, Bethsaida is right up at the top. And that's where they're from. Now, it would seem that Philip has also made friends with Nathanael. Nathanael comes from Cana, now which is down around about 2/3 of the way up the lake and inland a bit, and it is very close to Nazareth, but we'll talk a little bit about that more shortly. So my suggestion is it looks like they're friends. Now, what we haven't seen in this text is what comes before. The day before, where we see two disciples encountering Jesus. John the Baptist is standing with his disciples, and he points to Jesus as Jesus walks by and says, "Behold the Lamb of God." And so they approached Jesus and asked him, Where are you staying? And Jesus' response is, "Come and see." Now this is basically an invitation, an understanding between the three of them. They want to get to know Jesus a little bit better. So they head off together. Now we're told that one of those is Andrew, the brother of Simon. And he goes and finds Simon, his brother, and brings him along to meet with Jesus. He says, "I found the Messiah. Come and meet him. Come and see." I'm wanting to suggest the possibility that the other of those two happens to be Philip. I can't prove it, But it seems to make some kind of sense, because at the beginning of our reading today, we read, "The next day Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and said to him, 'Follow me.'" Now this is the first time we hear of Philip. He just appears. And it seems to make sense that he would then be invited by Jesus to come with him. They got to know one another the day before. And when he talks to Nathanael, he uses pretty much the same phrase when he tells him about Jesus. And Nathanael has a kind of interesting response. And he says, "How can anything good come out of Nazareth?" And Philip's response is, "Come and see." It's the same kind of thing. He's inviting them into a relationship with Jesus. Come and see. Come and get a taste. Come and experience him for yourself and find out for yourself whether you think he's worth following. Now, we don't know why Nathanael responded in the way that he did. Can any good thing come out of Galilee? Can come out of Nazareth. But it's worth noting that Nazareth and Cana are not far apart. They are quite close on the map. And they are both close to a city that we've never heard of, Sepphoris. Sepphoris, which is a name that means perched like a bird, sat on the top of the mountain behind Nazareth and Cana and overlooked them both. And it was a significant city. At its height, it was estimated that there were 100,000 people living there. It was 5 kilometres away from Nazareth, and it was likely the place where Joseph and his sons went to work each day. Nazareth was a small village, as was Cana. And they were two satellites of Sepphoris. Sepphoris was a garrison city. It was the Galilean headquarters of Herod Antipas, and it was something that he was busy building during the time that Jesus was growing up. It was a place of real go-ahead economic activity. As I say, we never find it mentioned anywhere in the New Testament, yet there's a huge amount of evidence for its existence and its closeness, overlooking Nazareth. Jesus growing up right under the nose of Herod. And I wonder whether there's a kind of competition between these two villages, between Cana and Nazareth, so that Nathanael says, "Can any good thing come out of Nazareth?" That little dump, that little spot on the landscape just below Sepphoris. And the response of Philip, "Come and see." So he comes and sees. And what's Jesus' response when he sees Nathanael coming? He says, "Behold, an Israelite in whom there is no deceit, there is no guile, meaning there's no pretending with Nathanael. He's a person who you can trust what he says. He says what he sees, he says what he thinks. He doesn't try and deceive in any way. He's plain spoken. What you see is what you get. There's a directness and an open honesty about Nathanael. And Jesus immediately spots that, even though they've never met. And so Nathanael asks the question, "Well, how do you know me?" And Jesus' response is, "I saw you under the fig tree before Philip called you." This has a huge impact on Nathanael. He immediately pleads his fealty. "You are the Christ, you're the Son of God." He immediately declares, basically, he's all in. He's going to follow Jesus. Why? We don't actually know. What happened under the fig tree? I have no idea. What is the significance of this? Well, I want to suggest that the significance is that Nathaniel knew what was going on under the fig tree. And so did Jesus. Under the fig tree, something of significance happened. We don't know what it was. It may have been a moment of crisis for Nathaniel. It may have been a moment of significant decision for Nathaniel. It may have been a moment when he laid out a fleece, so to speak, where he made a bargain with God and said, well, I'm really in a place between two choices and I don't know what to do. You're going to have to give me some kind of sign. And he settles in his heart, it has to be today or it has to be tomorrow that you've got to come to the party on this, or I'm gone, I'm back to Cana. And then Jesus says to him, while you were under the fig tree before Philip called you, I knew you. And there's a sense between the two of knowing, an engagement, a connection, that of something that has happened that only Nathaniel and Jesus knew about. And this is enough for Nathaniel. He's all in. Interestingly, just as an aside, we discover that when Jesus says to Philip, follow me, and Philip invites Nathaniel to follow him, the place they go to is Cana in Galilee. It's where they go because that's the third day where we have the first of those signs, the miracle of the water being changed into wine. It's from there they go to Cana. And there's a sense that Jesus is inviting Nathaniel to come with him to go back home. As I said, it's more than enough for Nathaniel. It's what Jesus says next, though, that is also of interest. What does he say? Do you believe me because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? You will see greater things than these. And he said to him, very truly I tell you, you will see the heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. Now what's that about? Well, I want to suggest to you it's figurative, it's an image, it's not intended to be taken literally, but it actually harkens back to Jacob's ladder. That dream that Jacob had where he saw angels going up and down the staircase to heaven and back. And Jesus is alluding to that. He's saying, I am the staircase. I am the connection between here, between your life, between what you see day by day and the kingdom of heaven. You follow me and you will find this place, this kingdom of heaven kind of life open to you. Follow me and you'll see. Come and see. And so we see this invitation to Nathaniel to become a follower and to discover in doing that there's a whole new world that will open to him. A whole new world where through Jesus and in Jesus and with Jesus he will see God at work in ways that he never imagined. He will find his own life takes on a whole new sense of purpose and meaning and a sense of value. It may be that he'd been sitting under that fig tree in a sense of deep despair, that he'd hoped for so much and it turned out for so little. And here we have Jesus inviting him into another go, into another sense of, hang on, come with me. And it's just like John the Baptist had said, I'm just providing the entree. This one who's coming will provide you the main course. This one who's coming will baptize you not with water, but baptize you in Holy Spirit. And you will see and experience and walk in life in a completely different way. Jesus, it's in this gospel, says, and you'll hear me repeat this again and again, I'm come that you might have life and have it in its fullness. And he's inviting Nathaniel to join him in this adventure. He says, come with me, come and see, walk with me and experience a new kind of life. It seems to me that the invitation is as relevant today. Jesus invites us to walk with him. Jesus invites us to engage, to open our hearts to what he's saying, to what he's doing, to start noticing what's happening in our own lives, what God is doing in our own lives, and walking with Jesus and having a sense of his leading, of his presence, and to discover, as Nathaniel was about to discover, a whole new richness, a whole new vitality, a whole new life to life as he walked with Jesus. God bless you. Be at peace. Amen.